Prego. No, in realtà era lontano dal mio campo visivo, ma io ho
stavo finendo di scrivere, cioè non avevo alzato. Alfredo Salomone per il quotidiano di Frosinone. Volevo fare una domanda nello specifico al signor Renner. Lui ha già fatto dei film di azione di vario genere, però in uno era Mission Impossible, in un altro però era quello per il quale era Catherine Bigelow. Scusa, no, Catherine Bigelow. E in questo qua però lui comunque sempre era, volevo sapere la differenza dell'eroe, del personaggio, diciamo, eroe fra virgolette, questo di Bourne, e quello della Bigelow, in che modo era, sentiva lui la differenza del personaggio?
Ooh, heroes. I don't know a whole lot about heroes. Differences are, wow, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you draw comparisons to, you know, two paintings, let alone two films, let alone two characters. There's different set of circumstances. You know, I feel like, are they heroic? Maybe there's actionable things that are heroic. I don't look at them as heroes. I can't play hero. That's not something I can do, but I certainly can take a set of circumstances and make them honest. And yeah, there's not necessarily like bad guy written all over it and twisting your mustache like I tend to do in some movies. But there is I think a great intelligence to this movie, outside just sort of great action. Again, it's very, very difficult to draw comparisons, so I can really just talk about Aaron Cross and happy to play him. And an anti-hero? No, I think he's probably more of an anti-hero. He's an actionable victim of circumstance. I think it's the best way to describe it.
Buongiorno, Valerio Salvi di Film.it. Io ho una domanda per il regista Gilroy. Noi vediamo che ultimamente il franchise di Bond tenta un po' di rinnovarsi attraverso vari percorsi. Mi sembra più che altro che invece forse è proprio questo Bourne Legacy il nuovo Bond, forse lo si può intendere così, un personaggio molto moderno, molto d'azione, che comunque si muove in varie location. Lei lo vede così? Grazie.
I think that it's a really interesting time in movie making, good and bad. Some very bad things are happening in the movie business, and some really interesting things are happening. So you have all these enormous franchise pictures now, right? We have all these big serialized movies. So I think a lot of people are trying to figure out different ways to tell stories episodically at $150 million a pop, and they come along. It's a very different situation, and I think you go back to the 1930s in America, and there were B movies that were serial, was sort of like television. So now you're going along, and you have these shows, and how do you continue to tell an episodic story? Well, there is the Bond method, where they continually replace Bond. You're watching what they're doing in all of what Marvel's doing. You're watching them now replace Spider-Man. We took I'm not sure it's the first time it's been done. I don't know if it has been done before. I don't think it'll be the last time it's done. We looked at what we had before with the trilogy that had been there, and there was a great appetite to continue, and they'd hit a wall, and they were wide open for how to proceed on it. And the random idea was to say, well, what if you were only seeing a small piece of something in the previous films, and there was a much larger world, and it was consistent with what had happened before. And that became the point of departure, and our film actually happens, the first 15 minutes of our film, Bourne Ultimatum is playing in the background. The events of that film are the spark, the catalyst that launches our film. And, I mean, even to be interlocked to the point where our film gets a phone call from the other movie at one point. So it's it's another exploration in how to continue. I think it's, I think if it works, when it works, we'll have made a sort of new mythology that has a lot of different ways to go. It opens a lot of possibilities. I think in our case, the one thing that's different that we had to, the standard that we were held to, that maybe everybody has their own standard. The standard for Bourne, good or bad, was that there was nothing cynical ever about the series. There was never any winking like Bond. We never smiled. We never were merchandised. We weren't anything. It was very, very soulful, and it had a lot of integrity, and there was nothing cynical about it. So if there was going to be an approach that moved forward narratively, it had to be consistent with that. And that was something that we worked very hard to make sure that we had. So it's a new way of, we're in a new kind of storytelling for cinema. As movies get big, it's unusual, it's interesting. This seemed to be the most interesting way to do it.